Good morning, everyone. I'm very honored to be here all the way from Bangkok as well. I will be conducting this entire session in English. So if in case you do happen to have questions anytime, you can ask away. And I think I can have the NetTech team to help translate as we move along as well. So let's get started. So I'll be talking about the use case of the AI teaching bot I have used, specifically in the topic of a core subject that I've been teaching throughout the start of this year. And the simulation topic that I've ran for my students would be classifying accounting transactions. So maybe if I can ask to the general public, how many are business lecturers? Business lecturers in the audience? So we have a couple of hands. We got 1, 2. Okay, all right. So I believe when it comes to a topic like accounting or like finance or anything related to maths, our students always feel intimidated. So what I've done is I've created a teaching assistant bot that acts like me in the classroom so that they can be able to ask as many questions as they can while working on their homeworks and their assignments as well too, right? So whenever we're running this simulation, I'd like to keep it within 1 to 2 hours because I will explain some of the positive factors that came out and some of the complications that also did come out along the way. So let's do a bit of accounting real quick, right? So I believe whenever you're building your AITA bot as well, you need to have objectives. So that means when you're going to be starting out and working in your sessions for building your simulations, you have to define your parameters. So in this case, we have 3 objectives. My first objective is understanding the simple accounting equations, and guaranteed throughout the session, from beginning till the end of the semester, I have students who are still confused about this as well, right? So that means they have to be able to properly identify assets as being equal to liabilities plus owner's equity. But after the couple of weeks, students are confused, right? They're not sure, what does assets mean? What does liability mean? What's the difference between a liability and owner's equity? And that's where we build their fundamentals in the first 2 weeks of accounting. And then only I introduce this AITA bot and my assignments. I think you could be able to help translate real quick as well. Thank you.
ก็คือถ้าอาจารย์ซิมรันได้ใช้ในวิชาเกี่ยวกับเรื่องของบัญชีนะคะแล้วก็อาจารย์เล่านิดนึงว่าก่อนที่จะเอาบอร์ดเข้ามาใช้ในอาทิตย์ที่1อาทิตย์ที่2เนี่ยจะพูดถึงเรื่องของทฤษฎีพื้นฐานเรื่องของบัญชีเช่นสินทรัพย์เท่ากับหนี้สินบวกส่วนของเจ้าของที่เห็นเนี่ยนะคะอาจารย์จะบรรยายก่อนแล้วก็อาทิตย์ที่3เนี่ยก็ถึงจะให้นักเรียนได้เอา AI มาใช้
Okay, so the second objective I always will ask my student is, can you actually correctly identify the increase or the decrease to specific accounts when we're looking at every type of accounting transaction? And guaranteed, I have students making mistakes till the very end of the semester. So I decided maybe I should introduce this AITA bot that acts like me in between sessions as well. So let's take a look, right? We have a couple of classifications where you have to be able to properly identify what type of transaction falls into what category as well. And that means students need to be able to understand the difference between an asset classification, the difference between a debt classification, is it short term, is it long term, or owner's equity as well too. So, yes.
คือสำคัญก็คืออาจารย์กับอันนี้ที่นักเรียนต้องรู้นะคะว่าศัพท์แต่ละคำเนี่ยหมายความว่ายังไงทรัพย์สินประกอบด้วยอะไรบ้างนะคะหนี้สินอะไรบ้างแล้วก็ต้นทุนของเจ้าของมีอะไรบ้างอาจารย์ต้องอันนี้เป็นสิ่งสำคัญที่จะต้องสอนเด็ก
Okay, so here are my instructions that I have used for my AITA bot as well too, right? During the past semester, I had the honor to teach bilingual students. So students that can only putภาษาจีน andภาษาอังกฤษ. So that means if you're learning accounting in Thai, you have different classifications in Thai. If you're learning it in Chinese, you have different classification, but the concept is actually the same, right? So that means I made sure my bot can be able to reply in 2 languages because English is not my native language. I don't speak Chinese, right? I can speak a bit of Thai, I can speak English. So I need the bot to respond in 2 languages. For me, English, for the students in dual languages as well. So they understand the concepts as well, right?
คือบอร์ดอาจารย์จะต้องทำงานทั้ง2ภาษาเลยเพราะอาจารย์สอนนักเรียนที่ใช้ภาษาจีนดังนั้นอาจารย์ก็ต้องใช้ทั้งอังกฤษทั้งจีนที่บอร์ดจะต้องแปลอังกฤษให้อาจารย์รู้แล้วก็ต้องแปลเป็นจีนด้วย
ใช่ค่ะ Okay, I'm switching in
อาจารย์เข้าใจภาษาไทยนะแต่ว่าอาจารย์ไม่พูดไม่ได้นะ
พูดชัดๆไม่ได้ค่ะ So next thing is the second topic ใช่ไหม Focus on accounting concept, the fundamentals. So is it an asset classification, liability or debt? And then determining what happens to the debit side and credit side of each account classification. Because I always have students messing up the increase and decrease, and then they would say something else as well too. So this bot cannot redirect to, cannot be able to talk other topics because I don't want it hallucinating for my students. My students are already hallucinating in my class, so that means I need them to stay on point. That means this bot should go back to you are a TA bot for bilingual students. You are focusing on this topic.
อันนี้เป็นตัวอย่างที่อาจารย์สอนบอทของอาจารย์บอกว่าให้พูดภาษาจีนอังกฤษแล้วก็มีตัวอย่างให้พูดเฉพาะเรื่องเดบิตเครดิตนะตรงนี้นะก็คือระบุให้มันเฉพาะเรื่องก่อน
And the next spice I've put into this bot is that it should always ask this question, which is always ask first the students to identify the equation. Do you actually know the equation, right? And then can you classify what happened to the transaction? Because guaranteed in the past year or so when I've teach this topic, I have students that don't know where to start. So whenever they come to me and ask me the question, Achan, I need help, I need to solve this question, I don't want to give the answer. I will actually ask them, well, what do you know? What do you know so far? And what can I work with? So I made the bot do the same thing, okay? Ask them the question and then ask them, okay, can you classify 2 things that have occurred so far as well? And also, I've made sure the bot is limited with 5 sentences because my students love to take my questions and put it in DeepSeek in ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT will give them a very long essay about how to calculate this and the response, and I always realize they don't understand. They just want the answer, they just want to submit me the assignment, and they want to leave my classroom. So my goal at the end was, I'm going to implement this bot. I'm going to let them play with this bot, but I also want them to critically think their responses every time they answer any question as well too. So there are a couple of examples I've asked the bot to help out students if they're not sure how to return as well.
ก็คืออาจารย์บอกที่ไฮไลท์ของอาจารย์บอกว่าอาจารย์สำคัญมากที่เด็กต้องรู้เรื่องของสมการบัญชีแม้กระทั่งปากเปล่าอาจารย์ก็จะเน้นตลอดเวลาว่าบัญชีเมื่อกี้นะคะสมการนั้นคืออะไรแล้วก็บอกสั่งบอทเลยว่าทุกครั้งแรกให้ถามนักเรียนว่าเนี่ยสมการบัญชีเมื่อกี้คืออะไรนะคะทรัพย์สินเท่ากับหนี้สินบวกเมื่อกี้นะคะแล้วก็จะให้เขาตอบมาไม่เกินประมาณ5คำถาม5ประโยคเท่านั้น
Okay, so my instructions look exactly the same. There is no different. I just have this all programmed within the parameters, and then we do need an API key that Ajanui helped us to build as well, and temperature. So you don't want your temperature too high, because this bot will start hallucinating and giving the wrong responses, and then I have to explain more to the students. That's not the whole point of teaching it in class. I needed control, strict Achan like me. And of course, instructions for the lecture. So if in case you want to try something similar like what I've done, you have to give them as short amount of instructions possible. I do like bringing my students to the finish line and make sure that everyone can do it. But in a class setting, when I have 20, 50 students and I'm going one by one to each students to explain and figure out what's going wrong, it's very difficult to actually get to the finish line as well. So limited instructions that they have to follow as well too, right? And the best bit is I tell them not to use ChatGPT, Perplexity, other AI. I actually tell them to use my bot. Use it. play with it, break it if you have to, but I believe this should change your way of critical thinking approach when it comes to solving complex calculations as well too.
อันนี้เป็นทิปสำหรับครูสอนนะคะอาจารย์บอกว่าเวลาที่อาจารย์ทำงาน1คนกับนักศึกษาอาจจะ20คนอย่างเงี้ยก็คือให้คำสั่งนักศึกษาง่ายๆนะคะ short instruction แล้วก็เชิญชวนบอกนักศึกษาแหละให้บอกว่าให้ใช้บอทตัวที่อาจารย์สอนอย่าไปใช้ ChatGPT หรือตัวอื่นนะคะเพื่อจะได้อยู่ในบทสนทนา
Thank you. And last bit is the bot cannot give any answers. No. If they want answers, they can go to ChatGPT, they can go to Perplexity. I'm keeping a control environment where I want them to actually challenge themselves. And yes, I did get a lot of challenging questions last semester. So for example, this is the assignment I've created where by week 2, a student would have to look at the number of transactions and to be able to identify the dual accounting entry, right? Where did the cash come in? Did it increase your assets? Did you borrow a lot of money? Did you borrow it from the bank? Did you borrow it from investors as well? And they have to list it down. The moment I give something like this, all the students want to run away. They don't want to do this. But the reality is you have to do it for midterm because this is the fundamental and it comes back again in the finals as well. So this is what the students actually see. For me, I'm used to it because I know this subject, I teach this subject, but I need them to get comfortable knowing the logical process involved as well too.
อันนี้เป็นตัวอย่างนะคะที่พอวีค2นักเรียนจะต้องรู้แล้วนี่เป็นใบงานเป็นตัวอย่างที่นักเรียนทุกคนควรจะต้องรู้อันนี้ค่ะ
Okay, so in this case, the interface looks like this. So I'm showing you one example where this student actually was in my class but was very behind. And that means I can sit with the student and explain almost like 12 hours of my lecture, or I can actually have him jumpstart his understanding with where he's missing and filling the gaps as well too. So for example, the bot actually tests your understanding by asking multiple questions. As a lecturer, I can create multiple questions, but that means I also have to correct them on my own as well. So in this case, a student can ask a question and be able to calculate it as well, right? To see, okay, what are the two affecting entries involved as well and try to respond. But you're going to notice that there's dual languages, right? Language in English for the lecturer to understand. So if in case you are doing it in Thai, you can have it in Thai as well too, right? And the bilingual language in Chinese for the students to understand as well. But this student response is wrong. It is not correct. And what ends up happening is the bot will keep picking every part that is wrong and will keep asking the student, this is slightly incorrect. Please understand that this is the categorization. So what is it? What is the next step process as well too, right? And the student will keep responding, right? So what ended up happening initially when I had to keep trying this bot is that I had so many students saying that, Achan, the bot does not work. It's not as good as OpenAI Perplexity. I'm like, I know, that's the whole point because you're supposed to be solving it, not the bot. I don't want the bot to be the critical thinker in this case, it's a tool. You're supposed to be the one to actually think this through as well. So then it really did change the mindset of the students, right? Where rather than asking instant gratification of getting the solutions right away, what ended up happening was they actually started asking questions they don't want to ask me. They start asking the bot as well too, right? And then they notice that, okay, their understanding is improving as well too, right? They're correcting what they have made mistakes before. And of course, they're practicing along the way as well.
คือบอร์ดของอาจารย์เนี่ยอาจารย์บอกว่าไม่ให้บอร์ดตอบคำถามแต่ให้บอร์ดตั้งคำถามแทนนะคะดังนั้นเด็กอันนี้หน้าตาของอาจารย์ก็คือบอกทั้งภาษาอังกฤษทั้งภาษาจีนตัวแดงๆคือเด็กตอบผิดมาดังนั้นก็จะต้องเด็กก็ต้องถามคุยกับบอร์ดไปต่อไป
Okay, so at the end, the student would keep replying back as well, but the bot won't stop. Usually in this case, most students would stop using it and then move on. But I had some students who stayed till the very end to get that instant gratification that their logical thinking process in identifying a singular transaction was correct as well too, right? So the bot also encourages the student like, oh, King Ma, you are understanding this concept, you can move on, right? But never the answer, right? Until until at one point the student will write in the correct transaction. And that's when the bot finally says, "Tuktong, this is correct. This is what we're looking for as well," right? So it's a long process, but you notice if a student practices like this multiple times, and then over a period of time, they won't be getting it wrong as much, they would be getting it right because they're changing their critical thinking approach when it comes to solving the questions as well too.
แล้วก็นักเรียนก็ถามไปเรื่อยๆจนสุดท้ายถูกนะคะก็จะได้แจ้งว่าถูกเลยก็คืออาจารย์ค่อนข้างจะ challenge เด็กแล้วให้มี critical thinking ในการคุยกับบอทค่ะ
Okay, so there were a couple of examples my student has done in class. So I believe in the beginning we all saw the assignment I handed out, and it's all done in class. I'm monitoring every student's progress as well, but I also ask all my students to send me their transcriptions. What did they chat with the bot? Because I also want to know what did they ask the bot that they can't ask me, right?
ก็คืออาจารย์ให้นักเรียนส่งด้วยว่าถามคุยอะไรกับบอทมาเพื่ออาจารย์จะได้ดูว่านักเรียนถามอะไรบอทที่นักเรียนยังไม่ได้ถามอาจารย์ถามอะไรไปแล้ว
And there were other examples that they can ask as well too. Mainly for me is to screen the actual calculation approach and then the logical approach of can they classify it correctly? Is it using the right term also? Because like I've said before, in accounting, what is said in English is might have a different terminology in Chinese or in Thai as well. So I need to know that they can understand that as well too. So a couple of examples as well. And okay, so I believe we have a short amount of time to go over this. There was another case study that we have done for a capstone project where students had understanding of what it means to calculate a break-even point. So we're shifting away from accounting and we're focusing something on break-even point calculation. And of course that means we give them a case study again, right? And the normal reaction is to copy, paste, and put it into any AI. But the bot specifically knows what the case study already is, right? And should only be able to respond according to the case study that they have. So quickly, there's some questions that they would ask you to solve. Either way, the students will have to complete their capstone project with their projections for the project that they're working on throughout the end of the semester. So the simulation that we ran for the financial modeling focused on a very simple topic. Let's calculate break even. Let's try to know how much sales do you have, how much cost you have as a business.
อันนี้เป็นอีกตัวอย่างหนึ่งเป็น case study นะคะในวิชาการเงินในเรื่องการหา break even point ค่ะก็เป็นตัวอย่างอันที่หนึ่ง
Okay, so again, we have the same type of instructions, but as a lecturer, you have control over your instructions. For me, in this case, I have perfected it by actually testing out my bot because I want to also make sure that the bot is responding correctly back to the students that are listening as well too. And again, at the bottom, you're going to notice no solution, no final answer. That is not the point of using the AI chatbot in class. It's more of approach of how can they actually be able to solve it step by step as well.
อันนี้เป็นตัวอย่าง instruction ที่อาจารย์บอกให้บอททำเมื่อกี้นะคะก็สุดท้ายตัวแดงๆคือไม่ให้บอก solution โดยตรง
So what I've also done for our students, actually these QR codes won't work anymore because the bots are actually closed. But what I've done was there are students who are very smart. So they actually don't need my help, right? And then there are students who are absolutely weak, meaning they need some help, they need some guiding steps as well too. So what we ended up doing was we created multiple bots to run at the same time, meaning you have a difficult version that the bot is very strict. It will not tell you anything. You have to actually think versus a version where the bot is only speaking in Chinese, so that they feel comfortable as well, to the point that we had a bot that was very easy as well, right? So you notice how it says easy, hard, and hard? The students actually didn't know that as well because for them, it's about always finishing the assignment and leaving the classroom as well, right? So we try to put one step that, okay, you have to actually try this out and see how far you can get along as well too.
อาจารย์ทำแบบบอทคือหลายอันเวอร์ชันแบบง่ายหมายถึงว่าระดับง่ายสำหรับคนที่เรียนอาจจะช้าหน่อยแล้วคนที่เรียนเก่งก็ทำระดับยากและมีอาจารย์บอทเป็นภาษาอังกฤษภาษาจีนด้วย
Thank you so much for the translations. So, I noticed there are some images, right? So, okay, let's go back. Let's go back a bit, right? So here's the full summary so far. So I can show you some examples, right? All of my students thought that what I have introduced in the classroom setting is already broken, that it does not make sense, it actually does not work. But then they also realized that it was asking too many questions. It's just like a Chan Sim, but in a phone version, in a laptop version, and they found that quite annoying until I told them, you should be answering to the bot as well, right? So rather than the bot being hard, it changed their perspective, right? Because they're now actively thinking about the questions that, okay, why am I being asked this question? What is the purpose of this question as well, right? What can I take away from it at the very end? And of course, I want them to also feel very inclusive, right? Included in the classroom setting where many of my students come from different backgrounds, different mathematical backgrounds where they have been very intimidated growing up learning such a concept. So when you bring in like finance or accounting, right, they want to run away. They don't want to see any numbers. They don't want to see any text, anything related to calculations. So my whole perspective trying this out for dual subjects so far has been slightly a positive review, because for the accounting exam I've given, I've had students that actually were able to pass. That I knew at the beginning of the semester, I'm gonna struggle a lot as well, right? When they tested this out, they actually improved where they might have felt behind. No, they actually finished the finish line by actually passing my class as well. And I saw it in the answers in the final exam that, oh, they actually improved compared to beginning of the semester when I was a bit hopeless as well too, right? So here's some examples. This was the financial modeling simulation briefly run for the capstone projects, and all of the students had to sit down and actually test it out. But this initial phase was when the instructions was hallucinating a bit too much, so I had to bounce around and guide the students the right path, because that's what we're supposed to do as well, right? Instead of me explaining it 50 times to 50 different students, I need them working in groups in order to figure out what is the next step as well too.
อาจารย์ใช้วิธีเหมือนให้เด็กเรียนเป็นกลุ่มเนาะแล้วก็ในตอนแรกๆที่ใช้บอร์ดก็อาจจะแบบเบี้ยวบ้างอะไรเงี้ยนะมีหลอนก็คืออาจารย์เป็นหน้าที่อาจารย์อยู่แล้วที่ต้องเข้าไปดูนะคะแต่ละกลุ่มที่ก็ให้นักเรียนเรียนเป็นกลุ่มจะได้ผลดี
Okay, and I believe that comes towards the end of the session. They had a really good time, and of course when I saw their responses, they were also figuring it out along the way as well. But many of them for the first time actually was, sitting down quietly, because the whole classroom's quiet. Otherwise you have a noisy classroom, right? And they were actually putting the pieces of the puzzle together in solving each questions systematically as well too. So here are some examples that they have done side by side, and then they would be sharing the responses as well too, right? Okay, is this correct? Can we have a group discussion, and can we move on as well? So to conclude the entire session I've had right now so far, right? The instructions you put in your AITA bot that you create shouldn't be too difficult. You have to actually test it out and understand that you are the student, you're testing it out, you want to see what is it responding, because this is my approach of I wanted a replica of me 50 times. I cannot be 50 places at once as well, right? So it shouldn't be too difficult, otherwise it's going to break down or it's going to be very slow, and then you have to actually shift to on-site class mode rather than having 50-50 through the AI and then the assignments as well. And then next thing is the responses should be closely monitored. Just because I allow it in my class doesn't mean that they pass. They have finished the assignment, they will get the points, they move on. I actually have to sit down and assess and see what is it they've written for me, what is it they have asked the AI chat bot as well too that I've created to get to their logical solution at the end as well too. And another thing was when we were running this, we had to worry about the internet as well too, to make sure that it does not go out, and then that there is people actually connected in real time as well.
อันนี้จะเป็นทิปนะคะบอกว่าคำสั่งก็อย่าให้ยากเกินไปนะคะนักเรียนก็จะจากไปหรือว่าแบบทนไม่เรียนให้จบนะคะแล้วก็บอร์ดเองเนี่ยอาจารย์นะคะต้องติดตามค่อนข้างใกล้ชิดนะคะ ถ้าเขาเหมือนออนไซต์ได้ก็มาถามมาพูดคุยต่อนะคะแล้วก็ให้ดูว่าอินเทอร์เน็ตให้มันอาจจะมีปัญหาได้ก็ให้มันติดต่อทำงานได้เรียบร้อยดีเนี่ยค่ะ
Okay, and that is all for my presentation today. Thank you all for listening, and I'm open for questions for the floor. So, any
เชิญคำถามเลย
questions?
ค่ะ